when I was in the court of Louis XIV, there was a lot of speculation about the fact that I must have somewhere a fountain of youth. There were those that knew that my presence on the planet had extended far beyond the lifetime that they were in, for they had heard their parents and their grandparents, and even stories of centuries before, when I had been involved in the court, the politics, and yes, I was on the earth for about 400 years. Almost actually 500. And I never seemed to age. So, there were women in the court that swore that they were my lover, and yet in an ascended body, a light body that I could certainly cause to appear to be as physical as anyone around I, but in that energy, that accelerated energy, I would not have engaged a human woman because my vibrational frequency was a much higher frequency than the physical body of a human. Therefore, it would have been a destructive, perhaps deadly experience had I taken any of those women who swore that I had bedded them, if I had taken them as a lover. I did not eat, I did not drink. I prepared my own potions. But one of the things that I can assure humanity in these times, as Magik is returning with revelation, living that connected within yourself so that you experience the magic. Not think about it, or talk about it, or debate about it, or even read or listen to information about the magic, but, dearly beloved masters, the application of the magic that flows when you are directly connected into your own inner self. We've talked about being plugged in. The connection with your inner self is something that you feel, it's recognizable, it has an energetic vibrational frequency, and it's you. It feels good, but not outrageously good. It feels vigorous, and yet soft, powerful and yet gentle, strong and yet compassionate. And it's a blending. It is a blending of these energies, the essence of life that exists within you. And as you really, truly connect with that which you are, that which you've always been, the joy, the enlightenment, the upliftment is not sporadic. It isn't subject to moods as feeling good in the physical, emotional arena is. Because there is that element of alignment that the Master Book speaks about. When the I, the inner I, is single, when you see as much with the vision that sees beyond physicality as you see with your physical orbs, it isn't an either or, it's a blending. You can still see physically, but you see so much more than your physical eyes could observe once you are aligned. When the eye is single, you see God. You see good. You see beauty where your physical orbs might have sworn it was ugly. You see and feel truth, courage, empowerment, as well, yes, beloved masters, as a much clearer awareness when there is untruth, when there is disempowerment, when there is a tendency to create illusions that distract the mind. So, feeling your connection is magic. Being at one with the divine elements of yourself, imbuing, empowering, intertwining with the physical, the mental, and the emotional levels. And so it is. That magic cannot be understood by the finite mind. The mind is really, frankly, afraid that an individual will begin to perceive themselves as more. There is a fear that the collective consciousness will be expanded, purified, integrated with spirit. And as you allow yourself to live in that connection, the wonder of things that you can feel in that truly, beloved Master, you have not experienced in the third dimensional world, even in the fourth dimensional world. And many of you, as we have said, are beginning to touch the edges of the fifth dimension. And in the fifth dimension, you really began to experience what it is to be aligned with yourself spiritually. But where the fifth dimension was once something that was inaccessible to physical beings, that possibility, that probability is becoming more and more readily available to all of humanity all of the time. And in that is the youth. Because as you're willing to allow yourself to experience the feeling of that integrated energy that Spirit brings, the heaviness, the burdens, the responsibilities, the hard work, the difficulties of life are transmuted. They are changed in their frequency so that the weight of life is no longer so heavy on your shoulders, such a weight of raw emotion in your solar plexus that affects the heart, the digestion, and activities in the stomach area. It feels as though you are powerless. And yet when the magic is brought into your everyday, mundane human affairs, it accelerates your movement. It lifts you beyond places that you have felt you could never escape. The magic is filled with youthful energy. It does not mean that people are going to return to a place where they look 20 years old. Because as you began to mature, into that integration with your spiritual self, you will obtain a presence that, frankly, appears ageless. You might be 30, 40, 50, when chronologically you could be 90 or 100 or 150. But you pass that point that the world calls old, and the numbers cease to mean anything. Because how you feel, your energy, your vitality, that begins to bubble in your sacred space like pure sweet water. And it bubbles up, and you cannot keep yourself from laughing. In fact, in that euphoria of the connection with spirit, the youthfulness of magic, you began to perhaps laugh uncontrollably. And laughter is excellent medicine. It is a sweet cleansing of deep, dark, painful things that have been held inside for fear that others would judge if they found out, that you would not be loved if others knew. And adulthood becomes a game of keeping love at a distance. The ego mind sees love as a concept. But the vast majority of humanity dares not to allow themselves to love completely and thoroughly. And of course, as a concept, it's about loving others. How you love them, what you do for them, how you are to them, for them. But it can't get too close. So you dare not really entertain that sterling energy of love for yourself. And the youth of magic just blows away the obstacles that keep you in disconnect from yourself. And dearly beloved masters, that freedom, what is freedom? People talk about being free, and it's a wonderful idea. What does it mean? Feel it. Freedom is not the right to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, without any accountability or responsibility, without any integrity, without any authority. No. Freedom is none of that. Freedom is discovering yourself, finding out who you really are, and being so joyful with the discovery of what has been there since the beginning of creation, and yet has been hidden for so long, just below your heart, the center of love. And youth is powerful. But it isn't about chronology. There are people in their 20s that are already so locked in the burdens and limits and strictures of life that they're already old. And there are people in their 80s and 90s and even older who are so youthful. Their spirit is so free because they live connected to themselves, and spirit shows you, directs you, assists you to move in the direction that will energetically bring you the greatest good. Not what you thought you wanted, not what you thought you needed, not that Spirit's going to deny you those things, but Spirit says, consider what that really means. Just as I'm asking you, feel what freedom is, not what you think it might be. Feel who you are. Find you. Not the presentation to the world. For, beloved Master, those masks are falling. And the vast majority of the time, what you think other people want you to be isn't at all what they might be looking for. What you think you have to try to be in order to please others quite frequently will terminate a tenuous relationship because the energy of disowning yourself is so uncomfortable to live with, not only for you, but for those around you, because lies are uncomfortable. And when you are attempting to be something that you're not, or something that you don't want to be, or something that makes you feel less. It taints the energy of your realm of influence, and you are broadcasting an energy that is questionable. The youth of Magik is electrical. It is glorious. It is exciting, exhilarating. It's passionate. And it's filled with the love that has been locked away in your sacred place throughout the illusion, the love that the mind would warn you away from. So, as the masks are falling and the facades are collapsing, the reality of humanity is being revealed. Not that what you're seeing yet is real, but what is being uncovered on the planet in this time are the outcomes of trying to be something that you think others are looking for. Trying to be an image that you think people will respect when you don't respect yourself. Trying to appear prosperous when you don't believe that you are or perhaps ever will be. And the ego mind will absolutely make you feel stupid. When I say, how does freedom feel? And people say, I have no idea. I don't know what freedom feels like. Then why is it so attractive? If you don't know what it feels like, what makes you want it so? How does rich feel? Because people will say, how am I supposed to image myself rich when I don't have any idea what rich feels like? Then why do you want to be rich? What motivates you? If you don't know what it is, why do you desire it? What does youth feel like? Some people want youth so badly that they keep pushing for it and pushing for it until, if they ever got it, they would probably be sitting in the middle of the floor in a diaper squalling because they wanted youth at all cost. And the illusion attempts to create the mask of youth, with surgical procedures and skin peels and oceans of potions. And because the mind doesn't have a clear image of youth, so many that would go to a plastic surgeon and say, "Change it. I don't want any of this." And they honestly believe that if a little is good, a lot is better. And they find themselves waking up to a grotesque mask, another mask that has been cut into their flesh. And it didn't make them who they wanted to be, because they wouldn't allow themselves to find out who that is. As you connect with yourself, you connect with love. You connect with things that are who you are that you've doubted. You connect with a power that you had no idea you had access to, and it's been right there in the center of your beingness from the very beginning.